My name's Heather Torres. I've been attending and serving at Fellowship here for about 16 years. I am the youngest of three. We come from a very tight-knit family. We're still close to this day. It wasn't until high school until I really started thriving and coming into my own. And I was an average student, maybe a little bit below average. Math still makes me cry. But after I graduated, I moved about 30 miles away from my hometown. I was just wanting to get out on my own and have a job and, get my own place before I decided if I was going to school or what I was really gonna do with my future. And so that's what I did. I moved to this town, and I was still close enough to be able to go visit my parents and my friends, and then also started meeting new friends. It was actually then that I started kind of being influenced by these new friends. It was the party scene, and so I started drinking, I started smoking, and drugs were introduced a lot of the time, and at first I was like, it was really easy for me to say no. This was not my plan to stay there forever. It was not my plan to get into that scene. But then, it's super true when they say that you become a product of your environment. It's so important that you surround yourself with the right people. That's when things kind of took a turn for me in my life, and I eventually gave in, and curiosity made me try drugs for the first time, and eventually it became a regular part of my life. The shame I had, I was so embarrassed that I didn't even tell my parents that I lost my job or that I lost my place. Eventually, I got in this relationship with a fellow user and ultimately moved in with him into his parents' basement. He was super manipulative and controlling, and our relationship was based, of course, off of using. As time went on, it got darker, it got deeper. I was constantly under his thumb. I lost everything. I lost my family. They had to put up their boundaries with me because of me lying to them and using them for certain things, and them enabling me for a while, but had to eventually just tell me that's enough. I lost my identity. I lost everything. And I remember one night just sitting there and thinking, I just want out of this. I want to be done. I want my life back. I miss my family. How did I even get here? How did I allow myself to get to this place? I prayed for the first time in a long time, and I just remember just begging and pleading with God to help me because I just wanted out and I didn't know how. It was at that very moment I felt just His love completely surround me, and He flooded my mind and my heart and with reminders of who I was and where I came from, and that I'm still worth it, and that it wasn't over, and that everything is gonna be okay. But I needed a miracle, and so I just held on to this hope that, okay, God, you're gonna provide a miracle for me and help me out of this. And He did exactly that. He provided a miracle for me, and He placed a man at the exact moment, perfect moment, and He saved my life. And I was able to be taken out, and I was able to leave this nightmare of a life that I was in, and the mess that I had put myself in. And fast forward, 20 years later, I'm still with him, and he is my amazing husband. And we have built a beautiful life together. We have been so blessed, and we've raised two amazing children, one who has shipped off to the Navy and one who's now driving, and God has blessed us so much. And it was all because of God, because He heard me. He listened to me and he cared enough when I cried out to him that night and reminded me of who I am and who I am in him. And he is capable of taking your deepest pain, your biggest mistakes, and turning them into glory. And he'll take your biggest mess and he will turn them into your ministry. And he's given me the opportunity to minister and to lead worship. And I don't deserve this. I don't feel like I deserve this, but it's not about how good we are. It's about how good he is. And he will and he can turn your deepest pains and your deepest struggles into victory and your ministry. And I'm living proof of that.
Oh, I'm living proof of what the mercy of God can do. If you knew me then, you'd believe me now. He turned my whole life upside down. He took the old and he made it new. Yes, that's just what the mercy of God can do. Now I'm alive to tell the story how I've overcome. It's his goodness and mercy and the power of the blood. And I'm so glad that my freedom wasn't based on what I've done. It's his goodness and mercy and the power of the blood. So much power in his blood. Oh, I thought I deserved, oh, to be 6 feet beneath the earth. For all the things I've done, the things I've said, the choices made that I regret. Oh, I would still be lost. Oh, but for the mercy of God. Now I'm alive to tell the story how I've overcome. It's his goodness and mercy and the power of the blood. And I'm so glad that my freedom wasn't based on what I've done. It's his goodness and mercy and the power